Hello and welcome. So, what you're about to watch is my Indian Readathon vlog. I had an amazing Indian Readathon. It was just, I don't know why, but the vibes were good. The books I read were amazing, and the fact that I read a bunch of books compared to the one book that I usually read during readathons was just surprising to me, and everything was just a good, jolly time. That's the intro. I don't really have anything else to say besides the fact that I'm excited for you to watch this video. So, enjoy. Hello, it's currently like 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. on August 15th, so happy Independence Day to all my Indian followers. It's day one of the readathon, and I just thought, why not start my reading vlog at 1:30 a.m. on the first day of the readathon. I don't know, I was reading, I was awake, I just couldn't sleep, so this is what you're getting. Before we start, I just want to say that I cheated just a little bit. So I'm currently participating in a second readathon, the Tome Topple Readathon, and that overlaps with the Indian Readathon. That was just 2 weeks, and I've already been in it for the first week, and then now I'm going into the second week of it, and then the Indian Readathon starts this week. So if that made any sense, basically I'm juggling 2 readathons, and I'm blogging for both, and I'm reading for both. So I just want to read a lot of Indian authors for the Indian Readathon, and I'm really excited. Well, that's the point of the readathon, but like, I'm just really excited to read all the books that I chose for my Indian Readathon. So I thought I would start a little earlier, since I did finish my Tome Topple read that I was currently reading, and I didn't want to start a new one, because the Tome Topple Readathon is basically reading big books, and I didn't want to start a big book right as I was going into the Indian Readathon. So I picked up Prejudice and Other Flavors by Sonali. I read this, it's just yesterday, so I read it August 14th, so it's literally just a day before, and I read 70 pages. I also just read some right now, and it is August 15th. I technically didn't cheat that much. I'm on page 70 right now. I'm really enjoying it. There's not much that happened. There's basically just an introduction to the characters. There's a lot of family politics that I can already tell. I'm enjoying the development of each character and the relationships and how they connect to each other, and there's a lot of that. I've also never read Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This is supposed to be loosely inspired by that book, so I have no idea if it's actually doing that or not. But at the same time, I don't care, because I'll get to reading that at one point. But I'm just gonna read this as if it's just its own book, because it is its own book. That's the first book that I'm gonna be reading for the Indian Readathon, and let me just show you the rest now, because why not? If you wanna like watch my little TBR video that I made, then go and check that out, because that's where I went more in depth into what these books are actually about. As I said, I was reading Pride and Prejudice and Other Flavors by Sonali, and then if I finish that, I'm gonna pick up the second book, Recipe for Persuasion, and then The Immortals by Amit Chaudhuri. This has been on my TBR for a very long time now, and I just hope to read it at some point. I don't know when I'm gonna read it, but I just hope to read it. And then I was hoping to reread Gachar by Vivek, Shanbhag. Really tiny book, really easy read. Just thought I would put it in there because I've already read it, and I'm hoping to read it again because I read it a year ago. And also the last one, The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri. This is the book for the live show on the last day of the readathon, and I want to finish it before then, because I've never been a part of a live show, or like actually watched it when it's happening instead of watching it after it already happened. So I hope to read this by then. If I don't get to it, it's fine. I'll read it at one point, because it is a very popular Indian classic. That is my TBR for this week. It's looking pretty thick for 7 days, where I'm also participating in a second readathon. So we'll see what actually happens, but I'm excited, and I can't wait for the rest of the readathon. Yay for day one. We'll catch up on the next update, which I do during the actual daytime. But yeah, I don't know how to end any of these like little clips. Okay. Wait, where do I stand? Okay, we'll stand right here. Alright, So I woke up this morning, it's still day one by the way. I woke up this morning and I read a little bit, but mostly I just edited my July wrap-up. It's not really a wrap-up video, it's just a video about the best books I read in July, because I don't really like wrap-ups because I don't like talking about books I didn't really like because I'm not passionate about what I want to say and I really don't care what I want to say. So I did that. So if you want to go watch, please watch that. And that was pretty much it. I'm hoping to read a little bit more now, and then when it gets to 5 o'clock, it's like 3 right now, but when it gets to 5 o'clock, I'm going to go hang out with my friend. That's the update for now. It's day 2 right now, and still reading Pride and Prejudice and Other Flavors. I'm halfway through. The book is basically about this woman named Trisha and this boy named DJ. Not boy, a man. They're like 30 years old or something. I don't really know. They might be in their 20s. I'm not sure. But basically, Trisha's a surgeon and DJ is a cook. Trisha's basically DJ's sister's surgeon, and she's trying to save her life. And it's basically a storyline about that, but then also a bunch of stuff about some family drama between Trisha and her family, because her family's like comes from royalty and there's a lot of politics there about them. There's a lot, okay? I don't know, there's not a perfect way to explain this, but I think at one point DJ and Trisha are gonna fall in love, but it's half of the book and nothing has happened yet. Nothing of big importance has happened yet, which I feel like is what is making me think this is kind of a slow book. The plot isn't progressing forward, we're just kind of learning about specific things, and I'm 217 pages into the book. Still enjoying it, really enjoying all the information I've gathered from the beginning. However, I just wish the plot moved just a little bit faster, because at this point it's kind of a haters to lovers romance in between, but I'm honestly not sure if that actually happens at all, because it's 200 pages in and I have no idea of it. I've given like tiny hints, but the hints have been very minuscule, relating to if it's going to be a haters to lovers romance or there's not going to be a romance, but I'm assuming there is, because obviously. That's my update. So I take that back. Everything about this book is actually quite interesting. I was just stupid and didn't realize that something was happening between this character and another character, because there's this little secret that's like being referred to throughout the book, but then you're not really given the entire story because you're supposed to learn about that like through reading the book, and like that's supposed to be the reason for this thing that's happening. I'm trying to be super general about it because I can't give anything away, but then I didn't realize that everything was unfolding as it was, and like there was a character that was being mentioned, but I didn't realize that character was being mentioned and it was important, because I'm an idiot and I forgot the character's name. So now I find everything interesting and everything's great. The part you're about to watch right now has a bunch of spoilers because I have to talk about it, and I had to put the book down because I was reading it, and I just have to put it down because the part that I just read just shook me to the core, and I have to say something. I'll leave a time code for when there's no spoilers. Sorry, there was a bug that just attacked me. Okay, so basically, the surgeon in the book, Trisha, she's one of the main characters. She just professed her love to DJ, who, not her love, her crush, her liking, whatever. She just professed that to DJ, who is the chef and also the male main character and like the love interest and blah blah blah. And he just full on rejected her because he thinks that she's a bad person, because he doesn't know her side of the story of something that happened between her and her former best friend Julia, her former college person. I don't know if they're best friends, but like someone she knew, that something happened between them that like caused a big thing in Trisha's family and a big problem that he thinks he understands because Julia told him her side of the story, but then he's never heard Trisha's side of the story, and neither have we. We only know really tiny snippets about it. So, so Trisha just was like, hey, like, I like you, like, I don't know, you make me feel things and whatever. And then it was so sad because, like, I just can't believe it that, like, DJ just went straight out and he was like, I have absolutely no interest in you, Dr. Rajay, which is her last name and she's a doctor. And it's just too much. It's just so, like, I really thought that things were gonna be better. Also, I like stopped there. When he rejected her, I stopped there. There's more and they're still talking, but I just wanted to stop and come on here and say that. And then I'm gonna go back to reading and then I'll explain more. Okay, I'm back. Like 2 seconds later, I literally just read a paragraph and I just have to read this because my man DJ went off on Trisha for the right reasons. She's being a little bit privileged, a little bit arrogant, and she doesn't see that because she's never had anyone tell her how arrogant and privileged she actually sounds when she talks. So he went off on her. Let me just read some of it. Even if I didn't find snobbery in general incredibly unattractive, I would never go anywhere near a person as self-absorbed and arrogant as you, Dr. Rajay. I would be insane to subject myself to your view of me and the world. He went off on her. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna continue reading, but that was my little spoilery section because I'm shook. And it's a romance read. It says romance right here, so like I'm assuming they have to end up in the end. And I kind of like how what's-her-face Sonali is like keeping you waiting until the end, because I've read a lot of romances where halfway through the book they've already gotten together, and that's just not as fun because then it's like there's the solution, like there's what's happening, like does it even matter that they're having problems after because they're already together and obviously you know they're gonna fix it. But with this one, the fighting and like the haters part to the haters to lovers romance thing is so much more strong, and they're just hating each other so intensely that it's crazy. And that's all I got. My hair's looking just a little rough right now because I just got out of the shower and like I don't know how to deal, and I've never middle parted my hair, so it's just kind of everywhere. So I'm sorry for that, but just enjoy what I'm saying because my hair, just don't focus on it, okay? It'll get better. Hi, it's day 3 of the Indian Readathon, and guess what I did? I finished Pride and Prejudice and Other Flavors last night. This readathon is going great. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed all the family drama and everything about like the relationship between every person in the family because it's a pretty large family. However, I thought that the beginning part was a bit of a slow start. It just like nothing had happened in the beginning. Like it was 200 pages into the book and we were still being introduced to the characters, and that's cool and all, and we were being hinted at like things that had happened in the characters' past, but we weren't actually like progressing the story and the plot until like another 100 pages and things actually started happening. And then also the ending I just felt like wrapped up a little too easily. There's this woman in the book that's basically ruined the female main character's life, and she comes back to like try to ruin it again because she's like a psychopath or something, and that storyline wrapped up a little too easily. It was more like it was just there to create a little tension, but then in the end it didn't really have any significance to how the characters reacted to anything, and it kind of just was like, oh, this is like a bad thing that happened and then it got fixed and that was it. Even though that was like one of the main plots, it just wrapped up a little too easily for me, so I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. And then I'm gonna put that down over there. I picked up Recipe for Persuasion, also by Sonali. This is the second book in, it's not a series, it's more like another book about a character that was in the first book. So I'm really enjoying it. I can already tell that I'm gonna like this a lot more than the other one because things are actually happening. I'm 104 pages in. I read some today and I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I said that a billion times, but yes, I am enjoying. Gosh, why can't I say anything besides I'm enjoying it? Here, there's another thing. Okay, so things have already been happening. I got to the 70-page mark and characters were already like moving forward and the plot was moving forward and everything was just better in this book. But yeah, I don't know how I'll feel because I'm only 100 pages in and it's 400 pages. I'm hoping to finish it today, but also like I don't know if that'll actually happen. But right now I'm going to be editing the Tome Topple vlog, and then that's pretty much it for my day. I'm editing the Tome Topple vlog and I'm reading this book, and that's all I got. 243 pages into Recipe for Persuasion. Hello, okay, it's day 4 of the Indian Readathon. I finished Recipe for Persuasion. Something about Sonali Dev's books doesn't allow me to say her titles. I finished Recipe for Persuasion by Sonali Dev. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. The improvement from her first book, not her first book, she's written many books before this, I think, but her improvement from this book to this book was very, very clear. The parts that I absolutely loved and why it deserved a 4-star were because the pacing was way better in this book. I love the subplot of the mother and the daughter. Yes, it was a romance, but at the same time, I feel like with Sonali Dev's books, she not only focuses on the romance, but then she also focuses on the relationships that the characters have with their family. So I really love that. And also the fact that we don't only get to hear from the perspective of this guy and this girl, instead we also get to hear from the perspective of the main character's mother, was super well written, and then also great for the plot because you're interested in the romance. Yes, I love the romance part, it was great, but then also I was interested in the relationship this character had with her mom and how that all tied in to the book overall. I enjoyed this book. I will obviously, is it obvious? I have no idea, but I will be definitely picking up more of Sonali Dev's books in the future. I also am doing pretty well with this readathon, I guess is what it's called. I have finished 2 books, so that's really great. Let's see what else I have. I have these options to read next. I also have to try to read something for the Tome Topple because I'm failing at actually reading for that this week. So I hope to read something for that and then also pick up one of these. I'm probably going to pick up the Namesake because I need to read it for the live show. But also I don't have to because I might just not go to the live show, and I kind of want to read Gochar again, even though it's a reread. And I don't really know about this book. We'll talk about her later.
Ever since I took my photo for the Cinderella is Dead book tour for Pride Book Tours, I could not find my sword hero whatsoever.
This is a little mini update. I finished Gachar by Vivek Shanbhag. Today it's the end of the day. Is it day 5, day 4, day 6? I think it's day 6. But yeah, I finished Gachar. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 stars. This was a reread and I loved it. I've always loved it. I think the most interesting part of this is the fact that it talks about money. So it's basically about a family who comes into a lot of money all at once because they're poor at first and then they come into a lot of money, they become rich, and it's how money affects them and the way money is monies, the way money affects their lives, their personalities, their relationships. It's so interesting to read because there's so many quotable moments, and there's also so many lessons to be learned through the book. And it's like super short. I annotated it, but like it's super short, so every word and every sentence and every phrase is important in its own way, which made this book really good. I need to read The Namesake, and then I'll be done with the readathon, I think, hopefully. I don't know. I'm gonna read The Namesake, and then if I have time to read another one, then maybe I'll read The Immortals by, I forgot his name, but maybe I'll read that. But most likely I'll just read The Namesake, and then that'll be the end of the reading vlog. But we'll see what I can do. I didn't realize this, but like Gochar on the back, Amit Chaudhuri basically blurbed this, and that's the other book I was supposed to read. So this makes me want to read The Immortals even more, because this is a good book. So this is probably going to be a good book as well. Hello and welcome. Okay, so it's the last day of the Indian Readathon, and it happens to be Ganesha Festival. So happy Ganesha Festival to all my Indian followers. That's why I'm wearing this, because we were just celebrating and doing all the stuff necessary for it. So I'm wearing some Indian attire. I'm reading The Namesake right now. I'm 50 pages out from finishing it, and I'm absolutely loving it. That's why I haven't updated about it, because I just kind of just wanted to be in my own thoughts about it and think about it myself, because it's so relatable to me, and like, I don't know, it's just so beautifully written, and I think it's going to be on one of my best books of all time, and I don't know yet because I haven't finished. That's pretty much it for now, and then I'll update as soon as I'm done with the book.
Saving my life right now, and I watched half a movie. I still have to watch the other half.
I finished The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. I related to this book so much, because the premise of the story is that there's an immigrant family who moves from India to America, and then they have 2 children, and these children, like me, are Indian and American, and they're born and raised here, as opposed to their parents who are born and raised in India. And it's basically a juxtaposition of how their lives are different than how their parents' lives are different, and the ways that both of these people experience their lives in America. It takes you through a good portion of their lives, not an entirety of their lives, but it does take you through when one of their children is born in America to when he reaches his 30s. His 30s? Yeah, when he reaches his 30s. So, reading this book was, in the beginning, exactly like reading a story about my family's life, because my parents also moved from India to here, and then I was their firstborn child. So, everything about this book was so relatable, and I just felt like I was living their story, even though there are obviously many differences. And I would definitely recommend this book to anyone. Like, first off, if you have immigrant parents, recommend it to you. If you just want to read something beautiful, I recommend it to you. If you are looking for something that's both happy and sad and has a good ending, I would recommend that to you. If you're also looking for something about someone questioning their culture and their different cultures, I would recommend this to you. If you're looking for something about being American in a different ethnicity, I would recommend this to you. I would recommend this to generally everyone. It's so well written. It's going on my best books of all time list, because the way this book affected me is like no other. Like, honestly, it's just so good. I listened to it in audiobook, and the audiobook is honestly amazing. I would definitely recommend it for this book. I don't think I could have gotten through it as fast as I did if I was just reading it, because specifically in this copy, I don't know if you can see that, but the words are tiny, and like there's a lot of words on every single page, and it's around 300 pages long, which honestly, for this book, you would think you're reading a 600-page book for how much was in this. So, definitely recommend this book. That is the end of the readathon. I read 4 books. I'm so freaking proud of myself. I can't even, like, I don't even understand how this happened, because usually during readathons, I tend to read 1 book. but I read 4. And just looking at these books, I read so many good books this week. This was a 3-star, this was a 4-star, this was a 5-star, and this was a 5-star. Such good reads. Like 3 stars for me is a good read. So having this as my reading week was honestly the best experience. I just want to thank the host of the readathon and also the creator, Nidhi Reddy Reads. The fact that they made this readathon to uplift Indian authors' voices. I loved reading the books because I learned so much about my own culture and I just related to people in the books, and I think that's why it's so important to read books from different cultures to understand other people's experiences, because you won't know until you either ask or you read, and reading is a way to self-educate yourself. So I love the readathon. I'm definitely going to be doing some individual reviews on the books I read because I'm really hoping to do that on all the Indian authors I read throughout this year and next year and like forever. So look out for those, and thank you so much for watching. I'm just so happy right now because I got to end my readathon on such a good book. Please just read the book. Like, everybody, just read the freaking book. Why is it so hard? Just read the book. Just read the Namesake. It's so good. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my Tome Topple vlog, I think is what's coming out next. We'll see. Bye.